start the revolution.
In you the people have the power to create machines, the power to create happiness. You the people have the power to make this life free and beautiful, to make this life a wonderful adventure. Then in the name of democracy, let us use that power, let us all unite, let us fight for a new world, a decent world.
If you can keep it, the responsibility of a country is not in the hands of a privileged few. We are strong and we are free from tyranny as long as each one of us remembers his or her duty as a citizen.
All right, good morning, good day, good evening. That is what's beautiful about having a podcast, is that you can literally listen whenever you want. Like, I'm recording this at 9:30 in the morning on Friday. Somebody might be listening to this maybe tonight, maybe next week, maybe maybe a month or a year from now. I listen to some podcasts that were recorded back in like 2013. So that's what I love about this. So thank you for joining me once again, man. Thank you. Me and Randy are here. We're really excited. I think, as you can tell from episode 1, I was a little bit too excited. So in case that you didn't see any of the posts I did on social media, I woke up that morning, Wednesday morning. I woke up, I went straight to my fridge, pounded a Red Bull on an empty stomach, got dressed, went to Denny's with this guy. Well, we bought another Red Bull, right, on the way out?
Yeah, that was after you ate the pancakes loaded with syrup and everything else.
It was awesome, man. It was crazy. So anyways, I'm excited. I'm good to be here. This is Friday, man. This is the Friday before the playoffs. It's football. How many people out there are football fans, man? How many of you guys are not just like your run-of-the-mill, hey, this is fun, I'm going to watch it because, it's popular. How many people out there are diehard, legitimate, hands-down football fans? Because you're listening to someone who's a Cincinnati Bengal fan.
That doesn't mean you're a football fan, then.
Come on, man. So the thing with me is that I became a Bengals fan when I was probably about, I was born in 82. So I was probably like 6, 7, 8 years old. The Bengals were playing the Niners in the Super Bowl. Remember those 2 Super Bowls with Boomer and Boomer went and was a quarterback for them, and of course Ickey Woods. You had that whole crew, man. That annoying ass commentator that a lot of you guys.
Was it Brooks that went off the rails and got busted for coke or hookers or something?
Oh,
like the
dude,
night of the Super Bowl.
Nothing changes with the Bengals, man. It's just kind of the mentality. Anyways, Montana won both those, and we lost, but we haven't really won a playoff game since. So we got the longest streak, and I say we. Let's talk about that for a minute before we go on about the Bengals, because no one really cares. Why do sports fans say we?
Take ownership. The word fan comes from fanatic, so,
I get that from people, and it seems like the people who ask me that question are not exactly sports fans. Like, they'll come up to me and they'll say some smart-ass remark like, oh, what, we? What are you, part of the team, man? What position do you play? And I'm thinking to myself, no, man, it's just because, like, with us, especially with the Dodgers, we're just die hard. We love it. I mean, we become a part of the team as far as like backing them and supporting them, right? I mean, that makes sense.
South.
I don't know, man. So I'm a sports fanatic as far as some things. I don't watch basketball. I'm not a basketball fan. I never have been. So right now, this time of year is kind of my favorite time of year. You got playoffs coming up. The worst time I think to be a sports fan is between, I think it's like March Madness, early April, right before spring training kicks off for baseball. That's, for me, probably the worst time to be a sports fan. I don't even turn on ESPN because, I can give 2 shits about basketball, man. I'm not a basketball fan.
You can't watch ESPN anymore anyway. So all you see on ESPN is, like, I turned it on the other day, and there's 5 chicks on there, and it was The View, but they were talking about football playoffs.
Yeah, dude, I've noticed that, man. I've noticed that with all the networks. I think Fox Sports 1 isn't as bad as that. I like them.
They weren't even hot, dude. That's the problem.
Well, because they're probably like mongoloid fucking basketball, retired basketball WNBA people that nobody knows. I don't know, man. Fox Sports 1 for me is probably what I watch the most of right now. But of course, you have to watch. As the football fan, you have to watch. You have to watch Chris Berman do NFL.
No, you don't.
You don't like him?
Dude, I can't stand. I used to. years ago, but that shtick, I'll watch it, and I'll continue to watch it because I want to see him clutch his fucking chest and drop dead on the set one of these days. When he goes back, I want to see his chair and just see his feet up in the air.
See, dude, like for me, Chris Berman's like the football dude, man. Like you had like he made up the whole and he could go all the way. Like that was him, you know. And
yeah,
like
that home run derby call he does is really great when he's yelling back when they hit 700 home runs during a 3-hour period. Oh.
Hey, speaking of that, man, baseball. So, did you like any of you guys listening that are baseball fans? I know quite a few of you are. The new like rules and the new standards for the home run derby. Do you like that, dude? The way it's set up.
I'm trying to think what they were this year.
So there's a time limit.
Yes.
There's a time limit. I like it. I think it's cool. It made it a lot more exciting.
Well, the fact is that, or they have to either call balls and strikes, or, you know, because you get to bring your pitcher out there. You're picking your pitcher, so you're out there as a team. So, yeah.
Well, some dudes bring, like, their dads out there.
Right,
like
but
some,
still,
like,
that's your choice. You got to deal with your results from it. You know?
Right. No, yeah, exactly. I like it. This year was probably the first year in a long time that I got really into the
Those
the
Dodgers sure
derby.
tear it up in the home run derby, don't they?
Jock Peterson did this year.
Yeah, I guess he did. But
He beat your boy. He beat.
What did Puig do?
He beat
year-
your.
was
Nah,
it
Puig
this
doesn't
year?
do nothing, man.
I'm just saying, and then I remember that year when Piazza was just killing it, and he offered, I think, in Pittsburgh or Cincinnati one year too in the All-Star game.
I didn't
not in the All-Star game, but in the Derby.
I didn't see it because I was in here in the studio when they did the Hall of Fame the other day, and I was dealing with all this. But I guess he accepted. Piazza went up to the Hall of Fame and accepted it in a Mets jersey.
Yeah, I mean, everything. I mean, don't get me wrong. He got some accomplishments and some records due to a career-long thing. But everything that he did that was groundbreaking was wearing that one team's color.
And yeah, the Dodgers. So look, man, in case you guys didn't listen to episode 1, I'm a diehard Dodger fan. Randy is
X.
You got what you have here is you got like the Bloods and the Crips sitting here, man. I bleed blue, and this guy's red for life, Angels. So I think in the preseason we're gonna go to the Dodgers Angels game. Maybe we should do an episode from like the parking lot or something. That'd be pretty badass. That'd be funny.
See if we can get a bus together.
Do they still let you tailgate Angel Stadium? Because last time
yeah.
Because when I was in the Army still, I came home on leave, and we went to the preseason game, and it was tailgate.
Dodger Stadium, they don't let you do that because these animals smash people into the concrete, and it's a problem.
Yeah, you know,
more civilized people live down south where things are nice and beautiful, and you can enjoy things.
You got fucking Mickey Mouse on your cop cars, dude. What, if someone comes to arrest you in a cop car and they got fucking Disney ears on it, I'm sorry, dude, but I'm gonna be like, oh, really? Okay. I don't know.
That's what happened to Stephen Avery.
So, oh shit! Go watch Making a Murderer if you haven't watched it yet, guys. Okay, so check it out. Today's topic, we went on that first episode about Making a Murderer. Stephen Avery, Randy just brought it up, and I think that did pretty well, man. As far as what we talked about, we brought that dude in from Wisconsin. I got a couple complaints, man. Some people said not all people from Wisconsin are idiots. That wasn't what I was saying. I know it sounded like that because even when I was, doing some post-production, I was like, okay, that did kind of sound like I was saying everyone in Wisconsin is an idiot. That's not what I meant. What I meant was like that family isn't exactly the brightest, man. There are some rumors online that there's some incest going on there. I wouldn't doubt it, looking at that mongoloid 16-year-old kid that's sitting in prison right now.
Well, I mean, one of the dude, the lie detector guy for Brendan basically said that their family tree doesn't bend. Like it's a straight stick. He said it in the written
palm
document.
tree.
Yeah.
I don't know,
Brown's
man.
Christmas tree.
I don't know, man. So, that was a good show, but I just want to clarify, if you're from Wisconsin or you know somebody from Wisconsin, man, I'm not trying to sit there and say, you're all idiots because...
Oh, tough shit. Not everybody in Oildale's a meth addict, but there's enough of you to fucking count.
All right, so I'm going right into the next topic, man, because I think it's probably after the Stephen A. When you're going through your news feed on Facebook or social media or watching... Fox News or whatever you're watching, man, and you're looking across, of course, you're going to see Making a Murderer, and then the next thing that you see is going to be something in regards to gun control. A lot of us to include both of us sitting here, take gun control extremely seriously, and I think our Second Amendment, clearly my First Amendment is my favorite. I mean, you're listening to me exercise that shit, but our Second Amendment is extremely important to me in the regards that, like, if something's happening to infringe upon your First Amendment, your freedom of speech, your right to worship a God, the right to a free press, then, suddenly your rights are being infringed upon and you're being silenced. So now you got to stand up for yourself, and that's why they made it the Second Amendment, in order to protect yourself, protect your family, protect your land. And,
does the Third Amendment mean snacks now or something?
I don't know.
From what we heard in Oregon, that these dudes... Did you see one dude the other day? He just said, I got to go now, my cows are loose, and I'll be back. What the fuck kind of arm standoff is this?
He said, like, time out from the... Yeah, I heard about that.
No tag me,
But you know what? We'll get to those guys, too, because I was talking to one of my Army buddies, and he lives in Montana, and a lot of these dudes that are... Because there's, like, this, like, tactical operator mentality that, if you've listened to me on Overwatch with my Overwatch buddies, we've talked about that a few times, about how some veterans get out, and some people who aren't even veterans, they dress like they're operators, like they're like they're in the hills of Afghanistan in 2003. But anyway, the Second Amendment is extremely important to us because let me put it to you like this: when World War II was going on, right after it ended, actually, somebody asked, I think one of the Japanese admirals, they said, "How come you guys never did a full-on invasion, of American on the American soil?" And the Japanese emperor said something to the effect of, "Because there'd be a gun behind every blade of grass." Now, that's the reputation we have as Americans, and that's awesome, because we don't need our military. We haven't always needed our military to protect us. We live in this day and age where we are like exactly what Eisenhower said when he left office. The military-industrial complex has definitely taken control of everything from our economy to our way of life. I mean, but we do it in defense of ourselves. When you're the top dog, everybody wants to bring you down. That's with anything, life, business. Anybody involved in business or sports or anything. When you're that top dog, you're a champion in the UFC, for example. Man, everyone's coming at you. Man, they're all nipping at your heels. So I get that we've been doing this, right, for, since World War II, defending ourselves. I'm not against it. I joined the military, man. And that's part of what I did, is to go and do what I felt was right. However, having said all that, in lieu of the military not being there, God forbid some crazy nuclear war or some...
Well, it's that Second Amendment, though, is also because the military is there. It's also to protect yourself.
Exactly.
In case of a coup.
Yeah, exactly. Right. 100% right about that. I mean, that's what Washington said. Washington straight up said that, I don't want to quote him right now, but he spoke. He was actually, Washington was probably one of the most adamant about having that right, because he understood just how easy it was for a government to step in and be tyrannical. One thing I like about Washington is that he could have, at the end of the Revolutionary War, man, he could have marched that army, into the Capitol, and he could have taken over, and he would have been emperor.
I was gonna say he could have made himself God.
He could have been. He could have been the next Caesar, man, and he didn't. He didn't. And that's why I think that's just an amazing feat. But so, anyways, gun control, man.
Teeth, he wouldn't do it.
Gun control. Yeah, I know. Them wooden ass teeth. I read something though on Reddit that he didn't actually have wooden teeth.
He didn't also chop down cherry trees, and he could lie too.
So I don't know. I don't know what kind of mason. I don't know what kind of mason.
Well, have you seen? There's another thing that we can get into that we'll pull up one of these days. Have you seen all these? There's like a show on the History Channel, like all these bullshit stories that we've been told all through history, and either their origin, that they're all nonsense.
Like a lot of these like folk tale, like the cherry tree thing you're talking about.
Yeah, stuff that shit that we learned in school, basically, and that we're told these basic that are just nonsense.
Like what kids learn about, like Lincoln making his own log cabin. He didn't make that log cabin. I think one of the things I learned here, actually, I didn't learn it until I moved here from Orange County, is that Lincoln built his own fucking log cabin. He didn't do that. Apparently his dad did it. And Lincoln had a pretty fucked up childhood. When you come think of it, man, Lincoln had a fucked up life, dude.
I heard he was a really shitty audience member to plays, too. I made it all about him.
That's funny. So, real quick, who out here right now, if I were to ask you, if I were to call you up or, just ask you, who can read the Second Amendment? Who knows it? Because that seems to be the main debate. When you get into gun control, when you get into all this, you get all these constitutional law professors, like the one sitting in the White House right now, who think that just because they've spent some time in a university and studied this, that somehow they know it better than us. Well, our founding fathers, dude, I don't think they made it that difficult. I mean, they every word is there pretty much etched in stone, written in paper. But let me just read it to you real quick. A well-regulated militia composed of the body of the people, being the best security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed, but no person religiously scrupulous shall be compelled to bear arms. Okay, that's it right there. That's it in a nutshell. So you get people on the left who say that, the founding fathers didn't ever even fathom in their heads, or they couldn't even think of that we would have AR-15s,
But
shotgun.
A musket was the assault rifle of the time.
It was, yeah, exactly.
It doesn't. An assault rifle. Can we really get into this? What an assault rifle is? An assault rifle is the same as any other rifle with cool looking shit on it.
I know them like the back of my hand, dude. And it's because you know what it is when somebody who doesn't know anything about guns and they look at it, right? And they look at it like an AR, okay, or a lot of us veterans, M4s, whatever. When you look at one and it's got a 30-round mag, it's got, a forward assist, a collapsible stock, you got an ACOG or some kind of badass sight on it. You
have the flashlight.
Some people, paint it. Some of us paint ours. Like when you look at them, you think that
you get it dipped with $100.
You think you're gonna go. You think that you're gonna use that fucking thing to go. Somebody who doesn't know what they're looking at thinks that someone's gonna grab that and go crawl through the jungle and fucking hunt predator. They don't understand. They think that they look at it and they think of the Toys R Us guns where you pull the trigger back and it just fucking makes all kinds of noises like it's firing off, 1,000,000 rounds. They don't understand it. They don't get it. They're not in it in that crowd, so they just judge based on appearance, which is funny because a lot of liberals are against that, but they do it with guns and they judge the people who have them. Now let's be devil's advocate here and let's just play both sides. Because you also have idiots on the right who are in Oregon right now. Maybe their cause is good. Maybe they're there. Yeah, okay, government tyranny is wrong. Nobody wants to really be a part of that. Nobody wants to see the government, enact control and take away our rights. But that being said, that doesn't mean you got to throw on some fucking cargo pants, go buy, some plate carriers and grow your beard out and go fucking take over an empty building.
Start looking like ISIS and shit.
You know what I mean?
Question I have for you, though, is what are your thoughts on... Because me, personally, as a gun owner, I don't mind the background checks. I actually, I'm for them because every time some jackass goes and lights up some school or does some stupid shit, then me, as a regular law-abiding gun owner, get the evil eye that I'm like a creep like this jackass. So I don't want the crazy background checks, but I don't mind. I don't know what the right amount is, the right ever, but I'm for it.
Okay, so this is
not those necessarily.
This is something that's kind of hits close to home because what they're it seems like what the people who are trying to enact gun control what they're looking to do is they're looking to target veterans. I think they're not coming out and saying it because if they were to come out and say that, that'd be the end of it. That'd be the end of it. That they would lose it. But I think what they're afraid of are because I've been saying for a long time that with the wars winding down, at least on the surface in Afghanistan and Iraq, a lot of vets are coming home. A lot of us have PTSD. A lot of us, a lot of us just are we've been doing that for so long that we come back and we do what we all do. We like to enact our Second Amendment. We're patriotic. We buy guns. And I think what they're afraid of are a bunch of combat vets coming home who are disgruntled with the government and the way things are going and owning guns, and they're worried about us maybe shooting places up. But when you look at all these shootings, who's doing them?
Well, the last time a disgruntled vet had a problem with the government
was McVeigh.
Right, and that was
he was
bags of fertilizer and a fucking Ryder truck. So that's not gonna, that's not stopping anything. I mean, what do we have to ban next? I mean, somebody.
And that guy, that guy was a turd, anyways. But
I mean, somebody you get. What are we gonna ban next? What's bad? I mean, somebody died of an overdose of drinking water wee for a wee on a radio show years ago. So how far down this list do we have to, go?
As far as the background checks, because I'll forget, dude. Like, see, I got TBI. Like I got traumatic brain injury from my combat experience, man. So, like, my memory's short. Somebody would look at that who's seeking to, like, enact gun control and be like, okay, well, this dude, he's got, he's been diagnosed and chaptered out the army for PTSD and traumatic brain injury. He's the last person who needs to have a gun, because they think that somehow us combat vets are, like, fucking incapable. They think we're mental. They think we're crazy. They look at how maybe our lifestyle is, how we talk. Maybe we're a little rough on the edges. We got tattoos. We get out. We grow beards. Some of us, I fucking can't, but, I got my little thing underneath my lip. But you know what I'm saying? But, like, we have this image that they see, and they think we're dangerous. But it's not us. It's not us doing these shootings. We're actually the ones who are standing up for the very freedom that give these idiots the right to talk out about gun control. Real quick, to go back to the background checks, because I'll forget. I think background checks are necessary in some aspects. I don't think in a free society, I think anybody should be able to go do anything. That borders on the line of, like, anarchism, I think. But I don't want to be the one to tell somebody they can't do something. Because who am I?
Totally agree. I mean, I'm up to that. You can do anything that you want, up to and including suicide, as long as you don't take anybody else out with you. That's how I care about your freedom. I'm the most thing I can do, that I can say about your freedom, that I care about your freedom, is, to me, you're free to do whatever the hell you want. Just don't hurt others.
Yeah, and exactly. So I think, and I have buddies, and we can always have them call in, man. One of my buddies I was in the army with, he's one of his family, man. He's one of my brothers, one of my closest brothers. His family owns gun stores in a different state, a more free state than California. But he'd have more to input on this than I would, because he deals with it on every day. What I don't like is background checks being used as a way to suppress people from having the right to purchase a firearm, because, again, just, if somebody wants to go and get into archery, not necessarily hunting, but just archery, you want to go buy a badass Bowtech or whatever the fuck the other ones are called, and you want to just target practice and shoot those foam deers or whatever. That's you. That's your hobby. You enjoy doing that. And who knows, maybe one day you'll step it up and you'll get into hunting. I don't even know why. I'm not an archer, so I don't know, man. I watch Archer on TV, and that dude on Lord of the Rings is cool. That's about as close as I come to archery, dude. But Dude,
it's a hazard, man.
If somebody wants to go and buy an AR, and spec it out, and buy all the stuff I told you that people put on them, and then go target practice at the range, and if that's, like, therapeutic for them, then so
shit
be it.
Shit blowing up is cool.
Then so be it, right? I mean, because there is something very therapeutic about going to the range, focusing in on a target, getting your sight alignment down, and just getting that marksmanship discipline in you, and then getting good. I mean, there's something about that that's very, I don't know, it's extreme.
Mastery of a tool.
It's a mastery of a tool, but it's very therapeutic, especially for us combat vets, because, I can go to the range, and knowing full well that my rifle right now, the guns that I own right now, are all zeroed in. I mean, they're all zeroed in. I mean, I can hit targets with it. I mean, I spent a lot of time at the range, not recently, but you know what I'm saying? My point is,
you know what? Fuck this. Let's end this podcast right now. Let's go to the range.
We'll do a podcast. I talk to some people. We can do a podcast from a range, but it's therapeutic for me, man. I could be having a bad day, which I have a lot of, and I could just pick up, go to the range, and by the time I'm leaving, I'm in my truck. I got my sound system on. I feel good, and I go home, and my day's awesome, dude. I mean, it's therapeutic. Yeah. Am I thinking about going and shooting up schools? Am I thinking about going and fucking shooting up people I don't like? No, that's insane.
It's the same way as a guy wants to go to a fucking driving range and hit golf balls.
Right. And when you look at the people doing all these school shootings, that's what pisses me off when this president goes in front of cameras and sheds fucking tears. Is it sad that children died in these different places and people died? Of course. None of us, that's horrible. There's families that are affected like that forever, you know, but he's a politician and he's out there crying in front of fucking people, and he's trying to use that pity. Oh, look at the president crying. Look, he's so human. Well, here's my question. Was this fucking lizard man crying when his drone attacks were killing 80%, 85% of the drone attacks that are out there are killing innocent people? Why don't somebody who's for gun control go fucking research drone attacks and see how fucking inaccurate those things are? Goddamn robots flying around the sky with fucking... It's goddamn Terminator, dude.
Dude, it's
fucking,
some dude sitting in Nevada with lag.
Yeah, and nothing against my Air Force brothers, man, but it's just some fucking dude who's never deployed and seen any kind of like serious combat sitting behind a screen, or some woman, flying a drone from halfway across the world or from far away. And it's like, I mean...
Dude, I'm telling you, that's my movie idea. I swear, for a script is basically that they're watching these video games, watching guys who are good at it, and then these guys get the call. It's kind of like The Last Starfighter. Then you get enlisted, and before you know it, you're taken somewhere and you're flying drones.
Yeah, I don't know, man. So I mean, we're kind of going off topic. And that's what's cool about podcasting. We can do that. But when you look at the entire, I'm trying to look for something right now too that my buddy just posted. But when you look at what's going on with this gun control issue, and you hear it said a lot. And if you don't let this sink in, when the government starts taking freedoms away from you, they're not going to stop, because they're going to use that what they just did to take away even the smallest of freedoms. They're going to use that as momentum to say, hey, we can do this. We can do this. Don't think that we live in a society that won't be turned quickly from a republic into, some kind of like fascist state or communist state. It can happen. Just because we have iPhones and fucking PlayStations and cars with cameras that help you back up, and refrigerators that tell us the time, and fucking smart TV. Just because we have all this doesn't mean we're like somehow immune to having a government take over. If anything, those things make it easier. When somebody from the NSA can tap into your cell phone and watch you and listen to your phone calls, and your smart TV can be accessed and they can watch you, there's a problem.
Well, you're not free. You don't own anything.
No.
Put it this way. You get your house paid off, pay your mortgage. Okay, you own your house, technically, according to the bank. No, well, not really. Don't pay your property tax for a couple years and see if you don't have a lien thrown on your house, and in a few years from that, they're taking your shit. Or even your car tags. Don't pay your car tax. Your car's paid off. Just leave it in your, leave it out, drive it around, and see what happens. You own nothing. You're as free as they want us to be. And see, everyone, and I can already tell if someone's out there listening right now. I can feel you, and we haven't even uploaded this yet, but I know that somebody's listening to this right now, and you're like, oh God, this is one of those shows. These guys are gonna start getting into Alex Jones, InfoWars, tinfoil hat. No, man. No, I make fun of those fuckers. Just wait, it'll be great.
And no, that's not what we're doing. But you got to call out the facts, man. And we're gonna be having a guest on frequently who raises a lot of good points. A local buddy of mine, and he's a hip hop artist, and he's crazy smart, but he brings up a lot of good points, and we'll get into all that conspiracy stuff. But you have to understand the facts that are out there. We're not living in a rainbow society. This isn't a utopia. This isn't like you elect these people and they wave goodbye on their inauguration, and then they go off to this distant land where they wake up every morning and they have your best interest, man. No, dude. I was in DC just recently, and that place is as beautiful as it is, and I think every American should go there at least once in their lives and see it. One thing I noticed is the amount of, obviously everyone's like professional, wearing suits and doing the whole government role, but you look at all the surrounding buildings, and they're like lobbying buildings, man. They're like government contractors. You look at like what's really going on, and you pay attention. If you know what to look for and you know what to see, you get to see what this government's really based upon. Just look at who's donating to these politicians, man. if anything, if you don't know anything about gun control, you don't know anything about freedom of speech, you just live a simple life and, you know something's wrong, just go Google who donates to these politicians.
With anything, follow the money. I mean, when you see a study on the news, chocolate's bad for you this week, and then the next week it's not, look and see who paid for that study. This is good for cancer. You find out that some bean is good for cancer, and usually you find out that, hey, that if you get down the line far enough, that the farmers of that bean are the ones who paid for the study.
Yeah, and I pulled up the George Washington thing, dude. It's right here. But no, you're 100% right, and we're not free, and which is why our first president said this. This is a quote from our first president. I'm not even going to name his name because if you don't know it, you need to move to fucking Cuba. All right? He said, a free people ought not to be armed and disciplined. A free people ought not only be armed and disciplined, but they should have sufficient arms and ammunition to maintain a status of independence from any who might attempt to abuse them, which would include their own government. The very first president of the United States, the man who won our independence, the commanding general who won our independence from Britain, who they elected, who could have taken control of this country and became the first emperor of America, but did not. He believed in democracy. He believed in the republic. He just said that. Or not just now, but like
he just said
no. But that's what he said, and I just read that to you. That's where the whole word "just" came in. I just read that to you. He said that. It's true. Go look it up. You gotta all of you, 100% of you have smartphones. Just take 5 minutes out of your day. Google George Washington's Second Amendment and look where he said it, when he said it. He said that, and what's happened since then? A lot has happened to this country, but we cannot change the very basis on what we were founded upon, because then we become far from what we set out to be. And that honestly is what the Second Amendment's there to do, is to protect against tyranny.
Well, the Second Amendment is the basis that all the rest of the rights can happen if worse comes to worse.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what. Yeah,
that's there's the axe behind the glass. Oh shit, break glass thing. That's what it is.
Yeah, and I think we've gone far from that. We see it in our movies, man. How many movies do people watch? And we watch these epic films where the hero fights against. I mean, look at Braveheart. How many out there have watched Braveheart and it's in your regular, you watch it at least every couple maybe year or two.
So he should have had a gun. It would have ended differently. He could have killed 1 million of those bastards
instead of a giant sword as big as me.
Fucking broadsword that weighs 700 pounds.
That mace he had was fucking badass. When he kicked that door down on that horse and he just maced that dude in his sleep, that was sick. Anyways, we get behind these movies where the heroes fighting against some tyrannical. I mean, what's the most recent one that's out there? I mean, fuck, there's so many of them. I mean, Star Wars is about that. Star Wars. I mean,
Han Solo gets killed by his son.
Yeah, Oh, damn it. So I mean, we live for it. It's in our nature as Americans to live for freedom, but yet somehow we get too preoccupied. We open up this show on sports. I'm not sitting here telling you I'm completely innocent, that I'm waking up every morning and I'm paying attention to everything the government does. No, man, live your life. Enjoy sports. Enjoy entertainment. Enjoy, if you're into that fucking Celebrity E channel, which I don't know why people watch that garbage, but if you're into that, that's you, man. If you're into skateboarding, fashion, woodworking, whatever the fuck you're into, have a hobby, have something that interests you. Enjoy your life while you're here. It could end at any moment, but don't get so preoccupied with stuff that you don't clearly see what's happening. Don't let that carrot in front of you, like a horse drawn with a carrot in front of him, just guiding.
Well, maybe if these fuckers did have something they like to do, maybe they wouldn't get so wound up and go and light up an office building every once in a while.
These politicians?
No, talking about these shooters every once in a while. It's fucking quit.
Well, all these shooters are on meds, man. All these shooters are on fucking
you start watching
SSRIs.
That, it's all that, yep.
I mean, that's another thing. People, pay attention to who these shooters are. These shooters are all on meds. Okay, first of all, just take a good fucking look at them, man. Come on, look at an average combat vet. Look, you know what? Put me out there and some of my friends. Okay, maybe my hair is different colors sometimes. Maybe I do listen to crazy heavy metal, but
Dodger fans are prone to violence.
I'm not insane. I'm not like these other guys who go into movie theaters or schools We're not like that. Veterans aren't like that. That's not who we are. That's not who the average, right-wing constitutionalist is like. These people making these attacks, dude, are one, fucking Muslims with like recently, San Bernardino, Paris. Let's not forget the guy who went and cut his coworker's head off. Where was that, dude? In like Oklahoma?
Oklahoma City.
Okay. How do we forget about that one? Okay, where'd that go? I mean, it's like, I guarantee you 90% of you don't remember that. Remember the guy last year in mid 2015 just went and do his work and, I'm going to cut someone's head off. That happened in America. Okay? These people doing these attacks are Muslims and people who are over-medicated on like insane SSRIs. You look at every single
they're
shooter.
assholes. It doesn't matter religion or whatever. They're just assholes.
Oh,
I mean, we said at the beginning, I mean, do whatever the fuck you want. Just don't hurt other people. At the end of the day, though, with these gun laws and everything else, there's a law already in place. It's called murder. That's above and beyond all. Whether you want to go straight Constitution, straight religion, whatever, that is usually the number one that you're not supposed to do. So if you're willing to commit murder, possession of a firearm is not the biggest thing that you're worried about, which always makes me laugh when you see these criminals and they're like, yeah, we've got him for 94 counts of murder. Oh, and he got a parking ticket on the way. The parking ticket doesn't matter.
I know, exactly. Yep, I know, right, exactly. What do you think? Sorry, I'm trying to set this up. What do you think that? What do you think when you see like a politician? When you see a politician having all these armed security people around them, and then they're gonna go give a speech on gun control.
Well, you do remember years ago when she had her own show, she gave Tom Selleck a bunch of shit about owning guns and all this, and he hopped on her saying, yeah, well, that's really cool for you to say, Ms. O'Donnell, when you have armed security. The rest of us don't have armed security, and we're going to have to, take care of ourselves.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have armed security at my house. I am my armed security. You are your armed security.
Well, I don't want...
I don't want that either. No, but
I was going to say, it'd be nice maybe to have some guard up on the roof, but other than that, I want to also be responsible for my own.
No, I got you. And that's the hypocrisy in it. And you see those memes all over social media and, on the internet where you have these politicians go into speeches and you see the Secret Service around them. So, and even celebrities and rich people, they got it. The rest of us don't have that. In America, don't think that there's like, not a class system. We all know there is. I mean, so who's going to take care of us?
Mark Zuckerberg and his money.
Mark Zuckerberg.
Oh, fuck.
But yeah, man, I mean, so the Second Amendment in gun control is something that, it affects every single one of us. Once you no longer have the right to protect yourself, once that's gone, suddenly I want to say slave, but suddenly now you have no way of defending yourself against any kind of tyrannical
Case
act.
subservient. Slave will get us in trouble.
I mean, it's 1772 again, man. You have, the only people armed are the government. And let's not forget what this country was founded upon, man. We had British soldiers walking up and down our streets. They can come, back then they could just go knock on your door and just take over your house. Hey, we're going to sleep here by order of the Queen.
No quarter.
Well, who the fuck's the Queen? I've never seen this fucking bitch. Who are you talking about? You know what I mean? It's not... Don't think that can't happen, man. It can happen here. It will happen here if we let it. If we let it. If we don't stand up and at least, are we perfect? Do we need to kind of come to terms with where society is? Of course. We can always learn from our mistakes. Learning from your mistakes makes you better. But does that mean taking away your rights and taking away the freedoms that you have so that bad stuff doesn't happen again? I mean, where does it end? I mean, if somebody goes... do you hear the example all the time, but it's a perfect example. DUIs. All these people doing DUIs or getting DUIs and, killing people. Are we suddenly going to, like, outlaw alcohol and driving? We tried that once, right, with Prohibition. How'd that work out? Even though you take away guns, okay, even though you want to enact gun control, you don't think criminals are going to get them? You don't think there's going to be a black market? You're going to create a criminal society.
Marijuana, drugs, anything you look down, there's a need. All it does is become valuable.
So this is all good stuff to think about, everybody. Gun control. I mean, this is just, the tip of the iceberg. We're going to be talking about it a lot. This issue is not going anywhere. Gun control I think this is this dude's last year in office, and he's pushed all these crazy, insane policies down our throats from his healthcare issue that he pushed and rammed down our throats to everything else he's done. All these executive orders that this guy's pushed everything down our necks, and he's not going to leave office without doing something to at least get gun control gaining some momentum. Think about what that'll do for you. Think about what that'll do for your family. Even if you don't have a gun, even if you don't own a gun, think about it. Take 5 minutes out of your day. How much time do you spend going through social media or going through your favorite app or your favorite game on your phone? Try and spend like a quarter of that time just scrolling through the important topics of the day and then researching, because that'll make you a little bit more in tune to what's going on. It's extremely important.
You want to bring this back and take it back to football? Maybe do some
yeah.
picks, and then we can even put this on Facebook. We can picks with a little contest, see what we can do just for the shit of it.
All right, so as far
bragging
as
rights, we're not giving you guys shit.
So obviously I'm a Bengals fan, so I'm pulling the Bengals over the Steelers.
I can make this really quick. Or, which I always do.
And here's why I'm picking the Bengals, not because I'm a fan. Obviously, okay, bullshit.
Liar.
That's exactly why I'm doing it. But our defense, we're leading the league in interceptions. We have more interceptions than touchdowns allowed. Think about that for a minute.
And Andy Dalton's not playing, so you got a shot.
We're playing better with AJ McCarron, dude. So I'm confident, and he's got 2 national championships. He's used to it. I'm gonna pick them. As far as what is it? It's the Chiefs and the Texans.
Well, I'm going the other way on that one. I'll take the Steelers.
Oh, fuck, man, what? Okay, what's the next game?
I'm telling you, there's nobody that wants to play Pittsburgh in the playoffs.
We do, bring them.
But see, I'm kind of rooting for the Bengals for one reason. Because if A.J. McCarron's still playing, Catherine Webb's still around.
Shit, it's fucking Miss Alabama.
Okay,
right.
well, the first game was actually the Chiefs and the Texans.
Yeah, that's the morning game. I'm going to go with the Texans. That defense is pretty strong. Although Alex Smith is playing pretty good, the Chiefs are hot right now, man. I think there's a
10
lot.
straight.
I like them, but I think the Texans are just one of those teams, man, that they just, they're
10 straight
tightening.
after the running back put his leg on backwards.
I'm going to go with the Texans. What's the next one?
I'm taking the Chiefs.
Yeah, I figured that.
Well, you're going to figure out a pattern by the time we get through this. And
Yeah.
I lose this pattern every year when I do this, but one of these years it's going to hit, and then I can point and say, I told you all. Seahawks-Vikings Sunday, first game.
If you watch what the Seahawks did last week to the Cardinals, I know the Panthers are hot. The Panthers been good. They've been kind of they did lose that game and they played awesome last week. But I think right now the team in the NFC is the Seahawks. I'm gonna go with the Seahawks on that.
Same.
After what I watched them do last week to Carson Palmer and the Cardinals, damn.
The Vikings don't impress me, really. I mean,
they're a good mediocre
good
team.
season.
Yeah.
Well, their division that they play in. I mean, the Packers have been shit for a while. The Bears stink, and and Detroit. So it's kind of they get to fatten up on numbers like the Patriots do in their shit division.
What's the next one?
We got last game, Redskins Packers.
All right, so I'm not one of them guys that has like an NFC and AFC team, but I have always liked.
You don't have an AFC team either. You have the Bengals.
Shit, I have always liked the Packers, man. I maybe it's just going back to watching Brett Favre play. I like the organization. I want to pick the Packers, but this one I'm not gonna do based off of off stats and off the players. I'm just gonna do this one out of the heart. I want to see the Redskins, because that's who they are. They're the Redskins. Their name doesn't need to change.
Washington football team.
I want to see the Redskins win that game, man. I want to see it just because Aaron Rodgers and them. I would. I really don't care either way here, but I'm gonna go ahead and just pick the Redskins.
Well, I like the Kirk Cousins story. It sucked. I liked the RG3, and I want the Redskins to win. But since we're doing picks and you're asking me where I'm putting money, I'm taking the Packers. They have been terrible. The receivers are hurt, but there's still something.
And Mike Zimmer,
Aaron Rodgers that gets stuff done. So, and the pattern here, I took all the road teams.
And check this out, dude. Both of our defensive coordinators from 2 years ago went to 2 teams, the Vikings and the Redskins, and both those teams are in the playoffs this year. So, granted, the Redskins aren't good, but You know,
And your defense
they're
now
not.
is
I
better
mean,
than it
they
was
made it to the
without him.
playoffs. They made it to the playoffs. Everyone's at 0-0 right now. Everyone's at 0. So it's just like, you know, go and see what happens. But I'm gonna go with the Redskins on that one. Those are our picks, man. So we'll post our picks on the Facebook page. We'll definitely get this episode out tonight. This will be out tonight, Friday night. So everyone have a safe weekend. Enjoy it.
Post your picks too. Let's get this
Oh
going.
yeah, post your picks, man. Let's talk some shit. Let's see where things are going, man. I'm excited, man. Tomorrow's my son's 1-year birthday, and my entire house, the entire theme's gonna be NFL theme, just for our guest. But we got orange and black everywhere. We went and bought Bengals birthday gear, so check it. This is gonna be a badass party. I'm excited. Tomorrow night's gonna be a big game. Everyone be safe out there. Enjoy yourselves. Don't drink and drive. Call Uber. Walk. Ride a bike. Do something. With that, you got anything?
Don't fuck up your Second Amendment right, so it makes it harder on me. God damn it! Don't shoot anything.
Yeah, don't shoot anything unless you're at a range, man. Use proper marksmanship, fundamentals, and just be safe, man. All right. This is Chadman.